I'd encourage bigger organisations in the city who have those kinds of resources to work with their smaller counterparts and help develop that local tech ecosystem even further. I'm Brian Simpson. I'm a product owner at Lloyds Banking Group. I work in our Chief Technology Office, looking at learning and skills development for some of our colleagues who work in technology change. Our teams are spread around a number of hubs around the UK, London, Edinburgh, Manchester and Bristol are the big areas, so I do travel around a little bit to see people.
And how did you get into that role and into tech?
By accident. I'm sure that's a story you've heard from a lot of people.
Most
Moved into tech. So I was temping many years ago on a data cleanup project for a building society. I was working with business analysts. They were doing problem solving work. That really grabbed my interest. I was, sorting out data problems for one person at a time. They were fixing them for thousands.
And if you had to sort of summarize that career path, how would you describe that in a few sentences?
I was a business analyst at about all levels in the bank. And then I got to a point where I thought I needed to challenge myself in a different direction. So about 8 to 9 years ago, I took a sideways move into a completely different area. We started looking at how we could build an engineering community in the bank and revitalise that and provide it with new skills and learning. So I developed my skills in community management and training, and we started to develop learning events for colleagues who were working in software engineering.
So how many events have you done this year alone?
I've helped with 25 events in our offices this year, and it's ranged from recordings of podcasts to hackathons to evening meetups and diversity events like our Women Connect Tech events. So it's been a really big year.
And which ones do you think have had that you've either enjoyed or had the most impact?
Certainly the hackathon we ran had impact. We made some great contacts with local universities and local businesses. Some I'd never heard of. Small companies sent teams along to take part. We had a really enjoyable day, and the only agenda there was to build our networks out a little bit more. The other events that we've hosted that went down really well were ones that were more career focused. How could we help people with their CV writing, for instance?
And in terms of putting all those different events on, because obviously it takes time, effort, resource, money, what's the sort of main aim for those?
I started hosting events 8 years ago, and when we started, it was just to raise awareness of the bank as an organisation that had a technology strategy and a modern technology agenda. As time's moved on, people are a lot more aware of us as a technology organisation. We're the largest digital bank in the UK. And now actually bringing people into our workspaces is a great way of building attraction for roles. More recently, events are a great way of networking with other people and learning from the wider community as well, and sharing back.
What's your top tip for other event organisers?
Just try to do as much as you can with the money you've got available. It was always a challenge in the early days running events when we didn't have event space of our own. I know that those things are a big cost. So if you can get space for free, do that. You can encourage other people to come along and contribute to what you're doing so that you can kind of share the benefits of the events.
Make it a real collaboration. And which leads me on nicely to the Leeds tech landscape. How would you describe the tech ecosystem within the city?
Oh, it's really diverse and it's really engaged. I find that people are really willing to talk to each other and get involved. And Leeds Digital's been a really big part of that over the past few years, encouraging people to get out there more and go and talk about what they're doing.
So there's different projects and initiatives you're working on?
One of the big pieces of work we're doing at the moment is helping the bank become a skills-based organisation. That means a few things. It means using data to understand where the gaps are in the skills that we have in the company, and that helps us drive our hiring strategy, but also our training strategy. And my current role is around developing learning for some of our technology colleagues. And as part of that, we also measure the skills that people have through an annual skills capture exercise, and they can tailor their own learning then to help address those skills gaps. And that's a real boost for their career mobility too.
Going back to sort of the Leeds tech ecosystem, If you could sort of make one change to it, what would that be?
I think I'd encourage bigger companies to be more collaborative with smaller ones. They can work on a shared agenda. Think about the event scene, for instance. For the first time this year, I've had an event space I can use, and I've been really keen to share that with other companies. And I know that some of them are smaller and couldn't necessarily afford to pay for a space. Everybody wins from that, and I'd encourage bigger organisations in the city who have those kinds of resources to work with their smaller counterparts and help develop that local tech ecosystem even further.